Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Well, I just had to come on real quick. Um, Before I go any further, I just want to say thank you to Miss Kathy Borthwick. Uh, she just purchased all four of my books, and she's been a true friend. She comments on every video. She bought Saving Miss Caroline, or somehow got Saving Miss Caroline, and I don't know how she got it, but she enjoys the book and she tutors a group of kids with the book. Um, so thank you, Miss Kathy. I appreciate the love and the support. Um, blessings to you. Thank you again. So I don't even know what I want to say this morning. I'm happy. I'm ecstatic uh, to see. The first thing this morning is an email from you, and it's it's been a joy and a pleasure knowing you. So yeah, what I want to talk about this morning is if you guys look up in the left far left corner up there, it might be the right. It's my left. It might be your right. I don't know. But you see this hat right here. This is a true testament of. This is a true testament to never give up. This hat, if you see, it has a J on it. You can't tell by looking at it, but this hat is pretty old. This hat is 20 years old. 20 years old. My first book, Jaja. This book right here. Oh, Miss Kathy, I'll be sending your books off here in a little bit. This book right here, Jaja. This was the first book I ever attempted to write and publish. I attempted to write other books. Um, I wrote a book at 15. It was actually a short story. It was about maybe 30 pages long, uh, called Little Boy Black. And I typed that whole thing out, but I was only 15 years old. So, Jaja, this book came to me in early 2011, 2001, when I was in Kuwait. Um, and I started writing this book one day, just started writing it, and I didn't know or realize. Uh, and there's another book before that one, and I'll be writing on that. I'll be finishing that. Uh, that'll be coming up next. The next book I publish should be uh, that book. But this book is the first one I've ever tried to publish. And if you notice, Jaja starts with a J. The hat starts with a J. I started wearing this hat, and this is a magical third eye Geechee thing. Whenever you are faced with something that seems impossible, you want to develop a plan in your head on how to get started. In other words, you know, when when you approach a task that seems impossible, absolutely impossible. You have no idea how you're going to start. Like say you don't have a car and you run out of gas, and you're 20 miles away from the nearest gas station and there are no cars on the highway. First thing you got to do is conceive that in your head. You got to rationalize, and you got to come to terms with what's going on. I need to get to a gas station. I have a gas jug. What do I need to do? I don't have a cell phone. First thing you got to do is you got to start walking. Well, first thing you got to do is you got to think about what you're going to do, come up with some type of plan. And so with Jaja, one of the little tools, a guy was selling hats. He I guess he would. This is back 2001, 2001. I think it's 2000. He was selling hats, and he came by. He said, "Man, I'm selling hats. You want to get a hat? You can get a letter on it, $15." I'm like, uh, I'm gonna show support. It's a black guy, so I'm gonna show you support. Yeah, sure. I didn't know what I wanted to get, so at the time I just started writing Jaja, so I said, sure, I'll get a hat, put a J on it, and make it burgundy because the cover in my head was going to be burgundy at first, and I may still change it to burgundy. But I got this hat, and I would wear it to work every day, and every day I would wear this hat, I would it would be some type of it would be a reminder that I'm writing a book. And so I would wear this hat every day until one day I stopped wearing it, and I just put it up somewhere, and then I found this hat maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and that's why I have it hanging in the background. But that's a form of, I was telling you guys about rituals and magic and stuff like that. Magic and rituals, that's a part of your life every single day. You do magic, you do rituals every single day. I'm not a guru on magic, but I know I do know that everything that you do is considered a ritual or magic. It's just a simple reminder like that to wear a hat with a J on it that gives you that little bit of motivation to go and write down a few words every day. And eventually I got to a point where a few words every single day added up to a story. Now, Jaja didn't come out until after Saving Miss Caroline, but it was already done. It was mixed up, miscombobulated. It was terrible. So I put it aside, and Saving Miss Caroline, I wrote that in about I said 6 weeks, but I wrote the rough draft in about 6 to 8 weeks in Kuwait, and that story truly did just. I was basically a conduit for that story. That story just flew right through me. Um, so then I came back to Jaja because I felt bad. It was the first book I ever finished, but it wasn't complete. So I went back and I finished it. Um, yeah, so I spoke a little bit about this video is going to be kind of all over the place, but I spoke a little bit about Faizon Love. You know, he was on Kwame Brown Saturday night, and one thing I didn't uh, touch on enough, I think, was the fact that he's having some issues with his baby mother, a lady who came to Atlanta. He said got pregnant by him. She's not American, and she got pregnant by him. Didn't tell him she was married, and called him like a week and a half later and said she was pregnant. So to me, it seems like she got pregnant by this guy who she thought was a big star, or in her mind was a big star. And Faizon, shout out to Faizon, Big Worm. He's a star, but I don't think he's a multi-millionaire. According to him, he said he's not making any money. But he called her a wombat, and it's a lot of guys. I'm very fortunate to not fall in this category, but it's a lot of guys. I'm a man, I'm a black man, so I hear a lot of stories. And the running theme, it seems to be, is these days, a lot of men fall in that category. A lot of good black men fall into that category. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and somehow, some way, they get caught up with this person who is using their child for ransom, for money. You know, it's sad. It's sad, and it to me it's disgusting to even think about that whole thing. I always put the kids first, and I always say that it's best for the kids to have both parents. And if you can't be in the same household, at least be in the same, at least be on the same accord as far as being cordial around the kid, not bashing one parent. You know, say the mom is talking bad about the dad, or the dad talking bad about the mom. Uh, I don't think that's ever beneficial for the kid, ever. One thing my mom did, I didn't grow up with my biological dad, but she never ever really spoke bad about him. Maybe sometimes if she got really upset, she would say something, but she never. It wasn't a constant thing where she, you're just like your trifling dad. You did, never that. But I know for a fact I grew up with people who moms did that, and it wasn't it kind of like affected the kid in a terrible way, because that parent is half of you, a part of you. So if you're being programmed to think that parent is uh, a bad person, or you getting certain details, and it's almost always beneficial to either not talk about the parent at all, or to talk about that parent in somewhat, even though the parent might be a dirtbag, uh, to point out the good points about the parent. You know, uh, so yeah, I felt the brother's pain. He was really speaking from the heart in terms of how the situation he's in with his kid. It's his only daughter, and she's 2 years old, and he's being treated like a deadbeat dad. He's, I guess, not even like a deadbeat dad. I guess it's all about money with the mom, and this is only one perspective. It's always three perspectives. It's hers. It's one person and the other person, and then it's the truth. But if the lady was already married, she already had 3 kids. She's still married. She came all the way to Atlanta, had unprotected sex with this guy, got pregnant, and now she wants to see a bank statement before he can see her kid. It's none of my business. It's nobody's business, but Faizon put it out there, so I felt like I had to speak on it. Um, Again, it's just the one that suffers the most in that situation is the kid. Always, always. Um, Thank you again, Miss Kathy. There are a couple more people that reached out to me that said they want to get a book. Um, you guys go on the website, go on the website and check it out. If you're not a reader, I'll say this: just because you're not a reader doesn't mean you might want to one day start reading. It's plenty of people I've sold books to that wasn't readers. At these different conferences, uh, they come and they'll read the cover on the back and get a glimpse of the story, and curiosity perk, and they'll buy the book, and later on down the road I'll see that same person or either hear from them through email or whatever and say, I wasn't a reader, but I was able to read this from front to back. I read this, or they'll say it took me a while to read it. I had a cousin who was incarcerated. I sent him a book, and he cut hair in while he was in prison, so he was busy a lot cutting other inmates' hair. And he said, "Cuz it took me a while to read it, but I'm so glad I did." I think it took him like maybe 3 or 4 weeks to read Save Miss Caroline. Um, but he said, "I'm so glad I did." He said it's one of the best stories I've ever read, and I get that a lot, you know. And I always say that there's a reason why they did not want the slaves to read. You know, there's a reason why the slave owners back in the day did not want us to read. Reading, not only are you going to get a different perspective on life through reading, but there's certain tools, certain little, and it's like a building block. It arranges things in the mind a certain way to where you understand life a little bit differently. Versus, a illiterate person versus a literate person. When you go out in life, say you got to travel from one place to the other on an airplane. Say I'm going from Charleston to California. Driving off on an airplane. Either way, the person who can read, that trip is going to be a whole lot easier. You know. Now, I'm not saying that you won't make it. You'll make it. But the person who can't read, trying to go from place to place, either driving or I don't care if it's train, Greyhound, whatever. You know, you got to stop at different places to get food. You know, if you can't read the menu, you're in trouble. You know. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for reading. I'm still not a strong reader myself. You know, like I told you guys before, I read my first book from beginning to end at 15, age 15. So I still have my struggles. I still have ADHD. I told you guys before that I got a prescription for Adderall, a VA prescription for Adderall for ADHD. Now, what I didn't tell you was I only took 3 of those pills out of the bottle. I dumped the rest of those pills in the toilet because I started taking that Adderall, and within the second or third pill, I started feeling abnormal. I wasn't feeling myself. I was out of my mind. I didn't feel like my normal self, and I said, "Forget this." No, my mom is pretty much addicted to prescription pills, psychotropic drugs. Because she's mentally ill, so she has to take the medicine, and when she doesn't take the medicine, you know, she's not well. When she does take the medicine, she's not in her right mind, so she's stuck in this habitual cycle of this never-ending cycle of taking these drugs. So, yeah, prayers for her. Um, so yeah, I got to mail off Miss Kathy's books, and I'll be sure to put a nice message in there because you have been such a beautiful spirit in my life. So yes, ma'am, I will put a nice message in all the books for you, and I'm gonna mail those off right now as soon as I get back to finishing up what I was doing earlier. I was writing a little bit more. So, anyways, shout out to you, Miss Kathy Borthwick. I think that's your last name. Yes, thank you again, and y'all have a great Monday. Positive vibes to everybody watching this. Um, Shout out to my grandmother again, Miss Martha Moore. Y'all have a good one.